Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So yesterday, Samaritan starring Sylvester Stallone was released on Prime Video, and I got to watch it yesterday, which I was excited about because I usually don't get to run to the theater, but when it streams firsthand, I get to watch it right away. So today I want to discuss it with you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be right back. So Samaritan was directed by Julius Avery. It is starring Javon Walton as Sam. He's a cute little boy from Utopia. And of course, it's also starring Sylvester Stallone, who's Joe in the movie. So it starts off pretty cool. It kind of shows you, it's like a kind of like a comic book. And it's the origin story of two superheroes. Now, you see two brothers. One is Nemesis and the other one is Samaritan. So you kind of see like, a little glimpse into like their life, what happens, I'm not going to spoil too much. And then there's a epic battle between the two, and, I guess both twin brothers are not expected to have survived. Now, fast forward 20 years, the little boy Sam, he's, he idolizes Samaritan. Samaritan is such a hero. Samaritan is pretty much like an idol of his. And you could tell he lives in a bad neighborhood. It's just him and his mother. I'm pretty sure his father passed away or was killed. And you just see him, he's having a hard time. He's kind of getting into trouble like here and there throughout the movie. So he gets involved with a rough crowd. On his way home one day, I guess they're all a bunch of guys and bullies chasing him, wanting to beat him up, cause harm. And Sylvester Stallone is there. He sees this, this happening, and he jumps in and he protects little Sam. Oh, what a hero, right? So yeah, a lot of that we've seen in the trailer. We see him, get hit by the car. So clearly Sylvester Stallone is a superhero, or he has powers, that we know. So that was like the trailer just pretty much summed up this movie to a T. It let us know what was going on. We saw a little glimpse of the bad guy in the trailer also. His name is Cyrus. Now, so I'm just going to go into how I feel about the movie, maybe just a couple other details without giving away too much spoilers. I know this film just came out, so I just want to kind of just, elaborate on how I feel about it. So the first 5 minutes of the film was just awesome in my opinion. I wanted more of that. Like I said, it showed it like a comic book, like these two, twins, Samaritan and Nemesis, and and what happened to them growing up, and then what kind of men they became, and this epic battle between the two. That was just so interesting. I wanted to read that comic. I wanted to see a movie just about that. I just wanted the origin story at that point. Give me more, please. So that was just a really cool opening to the movie. I did not expect that. That part I loved. I loved the plot, the storyline. I really loved it. Where the movie fell short for me is I feel like it really dropped the ball. The acting at some parts was just a little hard to watch. A lot of cheesy acting, a lot of cheesy lines. It was a little predictable, and I'm watching a lot of movies. So, I watch a lot of movies, so maybe that's why it was a little predictable to me. But I guessed the entire movie within the first 5 minutes. I actually said it out loud. And at the end, it was holy crap. How did I guess this at the last 5 minutes? That's predictable to me, right? I figured out there's a twist at the very end, and I kind of figured that out right away. That was just kind of I kind of knew right from the start. So that was just okay. I think though, if I didn't figure it out so quickly, if I didn't guess what the twist was, I probably would have looked at the movie a little differently. I went in and I guessed it right from the start, and I looked at it from that point of view the entire film. So what if I didn't guess it though? What if I had no idea what the twist at how the end was going to be? I probably would have maybe enjoyed it a little bit more, the film. I would have been like, the ending would have kicked my butt a little bit more, because it didn't, because I knew what it was. So I might have ruined it for myself, just being like too snoopy and trying to figure out puzzles all the time. I think I maybe ruined my experience with this film. But Sylvester Stallone, he's one of my favorites, so I knew I had to watch this right away. Of course, he does a great job. He's a star, an action star. And it was really nice to see him in this role, to see him as a superhero. You know, like, you don't have to be 20 or 30 to be a superhero and kick butt. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You could be like a tough, you know, I don't know if he's in his 70s or 60s. Like, you could be badass. You could be strong. You can save the day and be in your 60s or 70s or what, you know, I'm not sure how old he is, but, and I don't want to say too old or too young, but I'm sure he's between like 50 and 70, but probably like 60 and 70. But you could be that age and still kick butt. And I liked that about this. Like, you don't have to be a 20-something-year-old to be like cool and strong and all that. I remember when I first watched the trailer, it kind of reminded me of Hancock a little bit, you know, like a superhero kind of down on his luck and kind of like, I don't give a crap about anything. And it did have some Hancock aspects to it. Like, again, he's, you know, like, clearly down on his luck, clearly like, you know, maybe, I don't want to say depressed, you know, he's just kind of like going through life. He's a garbage man. He's just living, he's like, and he builds things. He collects like stuff that he finds in his route, and he builds other things, which I thought was really cool. So it did have a little bit of Hancock, you know, in there, but I just thought it really just wasn't what it could have been. This movie could have been something insane, you know, with Sylvester Stallone in it. That little boy that's just like, you know, Sam is just, you know, cute as a button, and he's funny, and I think it could have been something different. They really dropped the ball with it, you know. It was disappointing. I didn't hate the film. I'm not saying I hated it. I'm not saying I even disliked it, because I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it. But the cheesiness, like some of the bad guys in the movie, it was just kind of like a little cheesy. I'm just, you know, like the main guy, Cyrus, I liked him. I felt like he was what like a villain in like this type of like movie should be. But a lot of times I was trying to figure out, like, is he a real bad guy? Or is he just, you know, like a bad, like a villain? Or is he somebody like a misunderstood villain? So it was kind of hard to read. And even now, after seeing the whole movie, it's still kind of like, I don't really know. You know, I didn't really think he was that bad of a villain, but I didn't think he was like a good guy either. You know, it's just one of those characters that you're still guessing after you watch it, and you're kind of like, all right. But I enjoyed him. So this film was inspired by Finding Forrester and Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis. And I can kind of get the Unbreakable like aspect too, like thrown in there, of course. Just somebody who is kind of like, you know, like you can't really hurt them, you know, indestructible. So, you know, I can definitely see that those, you know, of course, Unbreakable was a different like caliber of movie in my opinion, but this wasn't far off. Like if they just kind of got rid of like some of the bad acting and some of the cheesy lines and just stepped it up a little bit, I think it could have been like an Unbreakable in my opinion. It's funny because like the villain in the story and his minions, I called them like foot soldiers a few times, you know, because it reminded me of a mixture of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles foot soldiers and a little bit of Gotham City, like the entire like the vibe of this movie. And they say foot soldiers like, you know, a little bit into like right after I was like thinking the foot soldiers, they said foot soldiers. I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe this is a little more predictable than, you know, that I expected it to be. So the little boy Sam in the movie, Javon Wanna Walton, he actually has been boxing since he was 4. He's won a bunch of state championships, and you see that be put to use for the first time in this film. So that was pretty cool. Like, there's a scene where he's standing on the roof and he's like kind of like boxing, and I'm like, this little boy like has some moves. And I read into it a little bit after watching the movie, and I thought that was pretty cool. He's very impressive. Like, and even in Utopia, he's just, I just loved his character throughout the entire film. I loved his character here. Besides him, though, Cyrus, and Sylvester Stallone, you know, a lot of the other characters were just a little, you know. Sam's mother was good. She's actually from Orange is the New Black, and I love her as an actress. So she was actually a really great addition. I didn't want to leave her out because she's phenomenal. She's definitely a great addition to this movie as well. So I'm just going to wrap this up. So overall, I did enjoy the movie. It wasn't a horrible movie. There was a really cool backstory. Like I said, the opening 5 minutes was really cool, especially if you're a comic book fan. You will enjoy it. I wish there was more of that. I would love that as a film. I would really love that as a film. Just the level of predictability, the cheesiness at some points, and some of the like bad acting, which just kind of threw me off. You know, I felt like this had the possibility to be like something phenomenal, and the ball was dropped. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all. I didn't even dislike it. I did like it. I just didn't love it. I didn't love it. You know, there's some things that need to be tweaked here and there. So if I had to rate this film, I would probably give it, I don't know, I feel like a 6 would be too low, but a 7 would be too high. So let's go with a 6.5. So I would give this a 6.5. You know, I definitely think you should go into the movie with your own opinion and see for yourself what you think of it. Because like I said, if I didn't guess what the twist was, and there is a twist at the end, if I didn't guess that right away, it would have been a different film for me. Of course, there still would have been some of the cheesy lines and the cheesy characters, but it would have been a completely different film, and I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. So, you know, you could go into the film not figuring out what I did way too quickly, and you're like, wow, okay, this is really enjoyable. You know, I think I really would have enjoyed it more if I didn't guess it right away. So please, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, you know, form your own opinion, you know, and then let me know what you thought of it. Like, do you agree with me, or you're like, no, Carmela, this is awesome, or no, Carmela, that was terrible. Like, I hated that, you know, because we're gonna have differences of opinions always. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed and follow me on social media, and I'll be right back.